Howdy, my name is Natalie,
And I'm Nicole.
and this is my proposal to aid in completely eradicating human trafficking in Mexico. Firstly, try to answer this question to yourself and see if you got it right.
There are approximately 40.3 million victims of trafficking worldwide. That's bigger than California's population. Human trafficking is the world's fastest growing crime behind drugs and weapons trafficking. Now, to be able to fund a development project, you have to know what you're dealing with. This includes that in Central America, 51% of victims are underage girls. This makes it the second highest rate.
Additionally, this graph, if looking at what victims are used for, 55% of victims are used for sexual exploitation, 39% for forced labor, and 6% for others. More than half the cases in Mexico occur in 5 different areas: Mexico City, Mexico State, Baja California, Oaxaca, and Chiapas.
So, are there any tiers for rating the efforts of the host country to eliminate human trafficking, and what is Mexico's tier?
Yeah, so Mexico is in Tier 2. That tells us that Mexico's government doesn't fully meet the minimum standards of eliminating trafficking, but is making significant efforts to do so. This brings me into what we are focusing on. According to the Department of State, Mexico has an inadequate number of shelters compared to the size of the problem.
So what can be done to counteract this?
We would dedicate 100,000 pesos per shelter, and we'd build about 200 shelters, so for a total cost of 20 million pesos. Additionally, we would have per year funding for the shelters of 45,000 pesos. So for the first 5 years for all the shelters, the cost would be 45 million. The total funding for the first 5 years for the whole project will be 20 million plus 45 million, and that would equal 65 million pesos, or $3,361,363.85 USD.
We have selected El Paso de Vida, which is an organization that fights against human trafficking, to carry out this funding plan. Their goals include for our survivors to attain a higher level of education, have a defined and implemented life plan, and to be emotionally stable, physically healthy, and be able to be assertive. For our families and communities to be aware of the damaging effects of human trafficking, so as to prevent them from re-victimizing or discriminating against the survivors and seeing women as sexual objects. For Mexico's justice system to be functionally adequate so that it fairly judges the traffickers and consumers and advocates for the victims and their reintegration. To be an economically stable organization that allows us to take solid steps forward, and to have a healthy and trained team being references for others to look to.
Their solution is prevention, intervention, and restoration. We will be mostly involved in restoration with this project involving the shelters. Currently, they have 2 models for their homes: Casa Refugio and Casa Transitoria, one for girls and teenagers and one for women.
El Pozo de Vida partners with Orphan Starfish for Casa Refugio, girls and teenagers, and provides food and clothing, medical services, education, individual therapy, family therapy, spiritual counseling, social skills, and job search coaching. At Casa Transitoria, they receive general attention and care, social attention, psychosocial therapy, academic and personal development, and justice and legal advisement.
Though costly, the benefits will be huge to victims of human trafficking all across Mexico. This spending will be worth it to the estimated 10,000 victims that these shelters will be able to support and replenish. They will be able to be reintroduced into society as a contributing individual that is made stronger through the shelters.